So this is the start. It's the beginning of an idea that I'm working on. It's going to be a scratch build of a storage cube, but it's going to be a stasis storage cube where you would put things into a stasis field for them to be kept for fresh for a indeterminate amount of time. The possible use for these would be to transport goods to a colony. Say if you were going out into space and you needed to keep your early provisions fresh until you got to the new planet, and then you would set this thing down on the surface, and when you open it up, everything would be just as fresh as the day you put it in there. The material I'm going to use for the container itself is Sintra. It's an expanded PVC. If you've followed my channel at all, you've seen me use this before. It's very durable. It's manufactured similar to what you would find for XPF foam, but it's a lot stronger. It's actually, this is a structural material. You could use this for quite a few things. And I came into a stash of this a couple of years ago and have been slowly working through it. I've got a lot of it, so you'll see some more of this as we go, because I need to, as I think of things to build with it, we'll be doing that. I've gotten a few comments in the past that, where do I find Sintra? You know, you don't actually have to have Sintra. It's out there. You can find it. It's all over Amazon and different places. For me, this was a material of opportunity. So I came into a nice stash of it for free. I was getting ready to go into a landfill, so I look at it as I saved it. So if I didn't have it, I'd probably be using something like sheet styrene or MDF, maybe even foam core would work great for this. So this is for the inset. So we're going to put some blocking inside here, so when I insert this piece, it goes into the right place. That'll be done later. Yeah. Cool. If you do happen to come across it, or you just want to use it, this is excellent material. It has very nice dimensional strength. It sands beautifully, and it paints really nice as well. I found super glue is the best material, or the best adhesive for this material, and in particular the thin stuff. So you can put everything into position, and like you see here with the 1, 2, 3 blocks and a clamp, or just, you know, whatever to hold it in place, and then the thin CA will just flow right into the joint. Although I've not tried it on this particular material, I suspect that PVC glue that you use for piping that you would pick up at the hardware store would work really well for this as well. As I'm thinking out loud, it might actually even work a little better, because it'll give you more time to work with the joint before it sets. So there's what we have so far. Got some sanding and some filling to do. She's not solid. You can hear it rattling. Yeah, that's loose right there. Here I'm using Tester's putty with a silicone brush, which was new to me. I picked these up a little while back, and I'd seen other folks use them with some success, but I'm not sure I've got the right application for them yet, because the tip's not quite, it's not doesn't have the right stiffness, so you'll be seeing me go back to my little palette knife here in just a second. Here I'm using a bit of recycled cardstock, if you will. I wanted that inset panel to actually have a little bit of texture to it, so this was, I thought, an excellent way to achieve that without, having to actually add something to another material. This is where that blocking comes into play, so when I push the panel into the end, it doesn't just slide all the way to the other end. Using the tools I have available at my bench here, I'm not able to get an absolutely perfect to match piece to cover up the end of this thing, but luckily this stuff does sand really well, so I'm able to just overshoot the runway a little bit, if you will, and then sand everything back. Now, with just a little bit more putty and some additional sanding, all of these seams should disappear when it's painted, and it'll look like one amorphous thing instead of a bunch of smaller things put together. I debated on whether leaving this little tidbit in the video or not, because I ended up I didn't much the cardstock. I thought I could get a nice crisp edge on this stuff, but it didn't turn out that way. I ended up getting out my collection of Evergreen styrene, and just, this stuff is pretty ubiquitous in the modeling industry, but it's relatively new to me. And chose some sheet material to make the doors out of, and just flip the thing over, since I've not committed to any particular side yet, and I'm going to apply the doors on that side. So I'm far enough along now that I can maybe stop concentrating so much on, I've got the base built, so everything now will be adding to the story of this object rather than creating the object in and of itself. I'd already imagined doors. You need to be able to get in and out of this thing, so there's going to be a man door and one end. It's near the controls that let you enter in and out of it through, you don't need to be, you're not carrying large objects in and out, so you just need to access it to, for whatever, taking small stuff in and out. So you need a man door instead of having to open up the giant door. As you imagine how this thing's being used, this is going to be transported from a planet surface to space, and then down to another planet surface. So the air pressure is going to be, changing somewhat rapidly. So the material needs to be strong enough that it's not going to implode or explode as it's being moved around from one environment to the other. I gathered up all my bits and pieces and my greeblies, and I needed something for the stasis field generator. I'm using these little disposable brushes. They're makeup brushes, mascara, I think, in particular, and they're representing the acoustically insulated pipe that the stasis coil runs in around the top perimeter of the container, because the sound generated by the coil would deafen you if it wasn't isolated, but the frequencies that the stasis field itself are not impeded by the insulation. I found this particular set of greeblies on Temu. I like to go junk shopping, and I was like, wow, look, they're already in a big bag of stuff, and I just nabbed it up, and here they are. They're some sort of I don't know what, not Legos, but sort of a building system that was similar to Legos. I mean, it was full of all sorts of different shapes and pieces and stuff. So this is going to be the field generator. On this little piece on the top is a heat transfer coil, and coming out of the top of that, there's going to be a sensor cable that runs inside the chamber. to just sense the conditions in there and moderate the field as needed. I've also got plenty of random stuff laying around that I use for different components. Like there's the keypad for the door. I'm using a little chunk of Sintra to represent the light above the door. 'Cause you need a porch light. So this is my second attempt at the cargo doors. Here I'm using some styrene and I'm cutting it out. You gotta set it back from the front because of the inset, but it fits there, and this is the large opening doors where you can load in larger bulk items, big containers of things. So this bit here is the coupler that connects to the docking clamp on the mothership. And these other 4 round bits here are bumpers to, protect the mothership. So this device is a heat transfer module. Stasis fields work better. The colder it is, the better the stasis field works. And this device removes any ambient heat left over from the planet once you're up in space. You got to have communication, so you got to have an antenna. And this one is tied into the sensor array and reports status back to the mothership. If you made it this far, I'd really appreciate it if you consider hitting that like button and leave me a comment. What would you do different? Is there questions about the technology that I have invented for this thing? Just having fun with it, and come along for the ride. So I'm picking out the last few pieces for the external sensor array. We're just about ready for paint, so I'm gonna stop here and we're gonna get ready for the next one. Yeah, thanks for watching. Go make something.